Teachers, in this video, you're going to learn about Google Meet. Google Meet is our newest optional video conferencing tool that has been approved for use by Broken Arrow Public Schools. You can use either Microsoft Teams or Google Meet to meet virtually with your class. There are some limitations of Google Meet that you should be aware of when choosing which tool to use. There's no end meeting option, which means you will have to wait for all students to leave the meeting before you leave the meeting. Students must log in with their BA credentials. This is on any device, not just Chromebooks. Safety controls are only turned on and off within the meeting. This means that teachers will immediately need to go into the meeting once they've created the link to set those safety controls. There are no breakout rooms in Google Meet. If that's a feature of Microsoft Teams that you really like, then you would want to use Microsoft Teams instead. There are some benefits over Microsoft Teams. There's no app to download, which means students and teachers will have the same browser-based experience. There is a tiled layout, so all teachers and students will be able to see one another and any presented materials. Links that you create in Canvas will be reusable. You can use them multiple times. Students will be logged in. This means students will not enter as guests, and you will be able to see their usernames. You will create a Google Meet in the same way that you create a Microsoft Teams meeting. You can create these on your calendar or in an assignment on Canvas. Simply click on the day that you'd like to schedule your meeting, title your event, make sure that the calendar for your class is selected, and click More Options. When you see this screen, click on the blue V labeled More External Tools, and instead of choosing Microsoft Teams, you'll choose Google Hangouts Meet. You will have to grant access to your Google account, and then your meeting is created. You will notice that it did not ask me to set any meeting options before it created the link. Once you create the event and this link is live, there are no host controls set. You must do it right now so students can't enter this session without you. To get to the host controls, you must click into the meeting. Click Join Google Meet. Then click Join Now. Once you're in the meeting, you should set your host controls. You'll find them here in the bottom left-hand corner at this blue shield. The first control is the most important. You must always, no matter what, make sure quick access is turned off. This is what it'll look like when it's turned off. If you leave quick access on for any amount of time, students will be able to access the meeting without supervision. Always make sure this is turned off. And remember to do it immediately after you create the link. You can also choose to have the students share their screens during your presentation, or you can also turn off their ability to share their screens. You can also disable the chat here in these host controls. If you change your mind about the chat, you can also change it here in the chat box. Again, the most important setting that is a requirement is that quick access must be off. No meetings should have this feature turned on. Once quick access is turned off, this meeting is now ready to share with your students. They will not be able to access it or join it without you. This meeting link will save these settings if you reuse it. Go ahead and leave the meeting until the scheduled time. Let's look at some of the features of Google Meet. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see icons for participants and chat. Click on one of those. This will give you a pop-out box that you can use throughout your meeting. From the People tab, you can have a quick link to your host controls. You can mute participants here or force participants to leave the meeting. This Add People button you can use to add staff, but you cannot use it to add students. It sends an email to invite people to the meeting, and students do not have access to emails. You will not be able to invite your students through this People button. You will have to share the link with them on Canvas. In chat, you can chat with your students, or you can also enable and disable the chat here. Most of the features live on the toolbar at the bottom. Students can raise their hand and turn on captions. Teachers can present their screens. In the three dots at the end, the More Options, you also have options to record the meeting and change the layout so that you can see all students. When you record the meeting, the recording will be automatically saved to your Google Drive in a folder called Meetings Recordings. It does take a little while for those meetings to render and load into your Google Drive, but it will save there automatically if you choose to record your meeting. When you present to your students, you're going to have an option to present your entire screen, a window, or a tab. If you're wanting to watch a video during your live session, tab is probably the best option. You'll see here I already have my video pulled up as a tab. So if I click tab, and then I choose the video that I want my students to watch, I can then click share. Before you click share, make sure that this checkbox is checked. You do want to share audio from your computer. If this checkbox is not checked, students will not be able to hear the video. Click share. Students will then see the blue outlined part of your screen. When you click play, students will be able to hear that video as well. When you're finished sharing, click stop, and student screens will go back to the normal Google Meets view. When your meeting has ended and you are about to leave the meeting, you must make sure that all participants have left first. If you leave the call, students will still be in the meeting unattended. Click on that Participants tab to see who's still left in the meeting. Ask students to leave. If they won't, you have the ability to remove them from the meeting here. Click these three dots, remove from meeting, and remove. Once all students have left or been removed, then you are safe to end the meeting by leaving the call yourself. You leave the call by clicking the red hang up button. If you have any questions about Google Meet, please reach out to the Success Team at successteam@baschools.org.